Special search and rescue challenges call for experts with specialized skills. In Module 4 of the Iowa Task Force 1 video training series, you'll learn about the next-level resources available to search and rescue teams in Iowa. You may never need a rope rescue expert or a confined space specialist or even a search canine, but these are all resources that you should understand and be familiar with in an emergency.
Well, as an emergency manager, we want to know all of the tools that we have, whether it's personnel, equipment, first locally, so we know who to call immediately. We also want to know what we have outside of our immediate county, especially statewide resources. Once we deplete those or the operation that we're on is beyond our capability, we want to know what those resources are, how to obtain them, and get them here as quick as possible.
When disaster strikes a community, the search for survivors is truly a race against time. Technical search is the use of listening devices, search cameras, and GPS equipment to locate victims trapped within structural collapses. Obviously, these specialties are most commonly required in urban search and rescue, or US&R environments, in the aftermath of natural disasters such as tornadoes or earthquakes. This equipment may also be useful in any search and rescue operation involving confined areas such as underground drainage pipes or construction trenches. The search camera lets you look into void spaces of collapsed structures where normal searches can't reach. Often, victims trapped in a collapse can hear the rescuers, but the rescuers cannot hear the victims. The Delsar Life Detector is one of several systems available on the market that uses seismic acoustic omnidirectional sensors to locate trapped individuals. With the use of this type of listening device, we can locate trapped victims more easily and quickly.
And I need to know what the capabilities of each of the teams have, but also what those capabilities can actually do for me. So like their cameras or their confined space camera. Is there something specifically that I need that for? Their sonar, is there something that I can do there?
Confined space rescues require specialized equipment and training. They involve areas with restricted entrance and egress that are not designed for continuous occupancy, places such as wells, tunnels, and caves. Rescuers in confined spaces sometimes have to deal with hazardous atmospheres that are toxic, explosive, or asphyxiating.
You may have oxygen deficiency, oxygen enrichments. You may also have hydrogen sulfide or sewer gas type situations. The hazardous atmospheres is the main one. It may be immediately dangerous to life and health is what we call that.
I would definitely say that atmospheric monitoring is probably the primary step to take to ensure our own safety. Obviously, one of our first steps is to make sure that the air that's in there is good. And if it's not, just knowing the steps of ventilating it to the point where it is safe, or going in with different equipment, supplied air respirators, SCBAs.
Forward-looking infrared devices, or FLIR, can be aircraft-equipped or handheld. A specialized type of search camera is the TIC, or thermal imager camera. It allows searchers to identify body heat signatures.
A thermal imager in a collapsed structure can see the signature, the heat signature, and possibly identify a victim in the rubble. In a wilderness aspect, you can use a thermal imager in a thick brush in the trees to look for heat signatures to possibly identify a victim out in the woods.
Iowa isn't only made up of flat farm fields and prairie grass. Rope rescue skills are often required near Iowa's river bluffs, caves, and other rocky landscapes. These rescue operations require specialists in the rigging of rope systems and dealing with heights and elevation challenges.
For a 200-pound person, you can't individually lift them by yourself. You would have to break that up into a rope pulley system of a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 that would give you less pull but yet move the weight.
One of the harder parts about vertical is, if you're not in an industry setting, is just finding a high point to connect all your systems to. And there's a number of different ways you can do that. We have tripods. You can use an aerial device, a ladder truck. You have to get a little creative if you're out in the wilderness, especially like a well or a culvert.
Water rescue specialists perform rescues in rivers, streams, lakes, and flood channels.
The 2008 floods We used everything we had. You find that there's so many different operations going on that what you think was a well-stocked inventory goes down very quick.
When it comes to wilderness or wide area searches, the SAR team's best friend may be a dog. There are two types of search canines available. Track trailing dogs are specially trained to follow the scent of a specific subject using a personal item, such as an article of clothing. Air scent dogs are trained to alert when they detect a certain scent. Human remains detection, or HRD, or cadaver dogs are used to locate the remains of deceased victims. Another type of air scent canine is for live find. Human trackers use their visual senses and sharp attention to detail to track subjects through wilderness areas. Every time a lost subject takes a step, they leave a sign or a piece of evidence that they passed this way. That's why trackers are often called sign cutters. They follow signs, which can include anything from tracks to more subtle clues such as rolled stones, broken twigs, bruised vegetation, and others. It requires a great deal of practice and experience to be an effective human tracker.
Sign cutting is trying to get a grasp of geography where someone has walked through weeds, timber, maybe showing a path, because that's what we're after.
The size of a search area can grow very large in a short amount of time. This is when searches using fixed-wing or rotor aircraft can help you cover greater distances with greater speed.
Aircraft and search and rescue is a very valuable tool, not only from the FLIR or the forward-looking infrared tools that are on certain aircraft, but just getting an overall view of the search area as a lookout, as a way of containment.
The Air Force Rescue Coordination Center is a valuable resource that provides more than aircraft support. They coordinate all on-land federal SAR activities in the United States. The center investigates search and rescue requests, coordinates with federal, state, and local officials, and determines the scope of response necessary. They are able to provide communications coordination, identification of emergency locator transmitter signals, and other assistance. Good communications is critical to every SAR event. Iowa Task Force 1 maintains a full suite of communication resources that are available to search and rescue teams. If searches need to take place in areas with limited communications coverage, we can set up interoperable land mobile radio systems and several satellite-based systems, including satellite internet connectivity, satellite push-to-talk radio, and satellite phones. We can also set up voice-over IP telephone lines via satellite internet connection. If multiple agencies with disparate radios are working together, we can patch them together in one system.
You want to know ahead of time what you have that you can immediately respond, and as your resources are deployed, you want to know the next level where you can get them beforehand, not when something's happening.
In this training module, we touched on just a few of the next-level resources available to SAR teams in Iowa. Be familiar with SAR teams and CERT, or Community Emergency Response Team, programs in your area. Contact your local emergency management agency coordinator for more information. Visit our website at iowataskforce1.org to learn more about advanced SAR resources and get direct links to the agencies and organizations that provide these services. Additional information is available at www.fema.gov and www.nasar.org. In Module 5, we'll focus on the U.S. National Grid Georeferencing System,